Never stop reading Bible. All right, welcome. Today we are jumping into an absolutely wild saga of revolution and revenge. I mean, it's this gripping story about how one violent coup in one kingdom can set off this bloody chain reaction in another and just completely change who's in charge. So it really all boils down to this, right? How can one man's revolution actually trigger a queen's bloody coup? We're going to see how this series of events unfolds where, every single action has a huge and usually deadly reaction. A purge up in the north? Well, that sparks a massive crisis down south, and it leads to one of the most ruthless power grabs you can even imagine. Okay, so our story kicks off in the northern kingdom of Israel, and our first major player is this guy, a military commander named Jehu. Now, he isn't just some guy trying to grab power for himself. No, he believes he has a divine mandate to seize the throne and completely wipe out the corrupt family that's been ruling. And Jehu, he does not mess around. His first act as king isn't some big speech or a fancy parade. Nope. It's a systematic and, frankly, an absolutely brutal purge of the old royal family, all their friends and anyone who supported them. His mission was pretty simple: total annihilation. And when I say brutal, I mean the scale of this was just staggering. To make sure his power was secure, Jehu ordered the execution of all 70 sons of the former king Ahab. It was a crystal clear, horrifying message: the old dynasty is over. For good. But Jehu's purge didn't just stop at his own border. Get this. While he's traveling, he runs into a group of 42 relatives of the king from the southern kingdom of Judah. They were just in the wrong place at the very wrong time, and he has them all killed. Now, that act is going to have some massive, unforeseen consequences down the line. So, with all his political rivals out of the picture, Jehu turns his attention to the religious corruption he was told to destroy, the worship of this false god, Baal. And the way he goes about it, wow, it's pure deception. He actually makes this huge public announcement saying, "I will serve Baal more than Ahab did." And you know what? It works. He tricks every single Baal worshiper in the kingdom into thinking they're safe. He gathers them all in one place for what they think is this giant festival in his honor. But it's a trap. So when you look back at Jehu's reign, his legacy is, well, it's complicated. You could say he was a success and a failure, all at the same time. I mean, on one hand, he totally accomplished his main missions. He destroyed the house of Ahab, and he wiped out Baal worship. But he kind of stopped short of a full reform, letting other kinds of idolatry stick around. Okay, so remember those 42 relatives Jehu killed? Well, that one single act created this huge power vacuum in the southern kingdom of Judah. And the ripples from Jehu's revolution, they're about to turn into a tidal wave. It's going to create total chaos, and for one person, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, the chain reaction was just so swift and so brutal. Jehu's action, killing King Ahaziah of Judah, it creates this sudden power vacuum. And who steps into that void? The most unlikely and ruthless person imaginable, the king's own mother, Athaliah. And her path to the throne, wow, it is just soaked in blood. She's the daughter of that very same evil king whose entire family Jehu just destroyed up north. So when she sees her own son is dead, she does something that is just unthinkable. She orders the execution of her own grandchildren, the entire royal line, just to get rid of any competition. And then she declares herself queen. But just when it looks like all hope is lost for the kingdom, there's this tiny glimmer. In the middle of all that chaos and slaughter, the high priest's wife manages to rescue the infant prince, Joash. He's the last surviving heir, and she hides him away in the one place the new queen would never think to look, inside the temple itself. So for 6 long years, the usurper queen Athaliah is in charge, all while the true king is secretly growing up. But the high priest, a man named Jehoiada, he's been patiently waiting, carefully putting together a secret plan, a counter-coup to put the rightful heir back on the throne. And Jehoiada's plan unfolds with military precision. After years of building up this secret network of loyal followers, he brings armed guards into the temple, reveals the young, now 7-year-old prince to this astonished crowd, and crowns him king right then and there. Athaliah is captured, she's executed, and just like that, the kingdom is restored. So now the boy King Joash is on the throne.
And as he gets older, he turns his focus to one single great project that would come to define his legacy, restoring the very place that saved his life.
You have to understand, the temple was the spiritual heart of the entire kingdom. But years of corrupt rule under Athaliah had left it totally neglected, even desecrated. I mean, it was literally falling apart. So for Joash, fixing it wasn't just a construction project. It was about restoring the very soul of his kingdom. And what's so fascinating here is how he did it. At first, he puts the priests in charge of collecting money and making repairs, but nothing gets done. The project just stalls. So Joash pivots. He takes direct control himself. He creates this new, totally transparent system for collecting money, basically a donation chest right at the temple entrance, and he turns the whole thing into a national movement. And guess what? It works. Brilliantly. But here's the thing. Even this incredible achievement didn't guarantee a happy ending. That cycle of violence that started this whole story, it never really went away. Joash's reign, which began with a coup and was defined by this amazing restoration, ultimately ended with a foreign invasion and his own assassination.
And that brings us to our final big question. From Jehu's bloody purge to Athaliah's ruthless coup to Joash's miraculous restoration, this entire saga was forged in violence. And it really makes you wonder, right? When power is built on a foundation of bloodshed, can peace ever truly last? It's a question that really echoes throughout history, doesn't it? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. This episode was produced by the Center Studio.